I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3-on-3 podcast. That's right. You're tuned into the number one basketball podcast in the universe. I'm joined with my brothers, my compadres, my amigos. I got my boy Ev with me, my boy Lou, and we have the Pod Mambo who's producing us, making sure that we continue to be the greatest number one basketball podcast in the universe. We have a great show in store for you today. We'll be talking about the East Coast. Specifically, we'll be talking about the teams left. The Knicks, are they the OKC of the East? Man, they dominating out here. What's up with this Cleveland Cavaliers and Detroit series? What's happened? Who would ever rather see? Then we're going to talk about the West Coast, West Side. You got Lakers were swept off the floor. And OKC's chilling, sipping on some drink, waiting on the winner of the Timberwolves and Spurs series. And last but not least, we're going to do a little wrap up around the NBA, catch up on current news and events. But let's jump right into it, man. Let's give Ev and his team some time right now. The Knicks, man, they had a decisive series win over the Philadelphia 76ers. And I, for one, am shocked that it was so decisive. Because I am quoted. I'm quoted on wax. I am on wax as saying that it was going to be an interesting series, one that might go 6 or 7. And the Knicks were like, nah, son. So, yeah, man.
Both clap fans. Both clap fans. Both clap for
man.
We appreciate it. We do.
If we had the what you call the flex bombs, because it's in true New York fashion, we'd be dropping flex bombs for you right now.
Right. Facts. So, Ev, as a Knicks fan, I need you to set that hat aside for a second. But are you surprised at how dominant your team is on this run in the playoffs?
So I can't sit here and say I'm not surprised. You have to be a little bit surprised.
I you to Glazer's team. I hate you, Hans.
No, listen.
Support each other here, man. We support each other.
Give you unbiased takes, okay? Unbiased, true analysis here. You have to be a little surprised by how the team has flipped the switch, so to speak, in part because at no point in the season did the team look this impressive. There were spurts where you saw, okay, these pieces could fit differently, right? You could get a little bit more out of players. But I think if you ask the average Knicks fan, and to be truly honest, I think we had kind of just kind of sunk into the fact that we weren't going to get what we expected out of Mikal Bridges. Karl Anthony Towns was having a bit of a lost season, right? That the mixture, the gumbo just wasn't mixing quite as right. So coming into the playoffs, wasn't an expectation that we would take off like this. And, through the first 3 games of the playoffs, granted, we won game 1, through the third quarter of game 2, we looked the part. And then for like 5 quarters, we fell back. So I think that's in the back of every Knicks mind, is like, you have the ability to regress to a team that plays with their food, so to speak, or plays down to their competition. But since game 4, you've seen the intensity ratchet up to a level. They've matched the defensive intensity from last year with the offensive balance and diversity. That was the reason they brought Mike Brown in and made the decision to get off of Thibodeau last summer. So where they're looking right now, combination of the two, Absolutely. They look impressive. You've got a 7 game sample now, right? Where this team absolutely took the heart and the life out of the Philadelphia 76ers, doing
Right.
so in the last 2.5 games without OG Anunoby. The switch flipped with the unselfishness of Jalen Brunson to give up some of the reins, put the ball in Cat's hands at the focal point, top of the key, allow him to be a playmaker, a distributor, and a scorer. So you've got the most engaged you've seen Cat in a year, playing better defense as a result, and the whole team is humming right now. I was watching with some family over the weekend, and I'm not gonna admit I was a little cash money when I was talking. I was like, listen, this version of the Knicks is gonna beat Philly in Game 4 by 20, and they
You had a
came
little
out and beat them
battle
by
going
30.
on. You had a
Had to
little
had to
flex.
let them know. Listen, they kept asking me about OKC and San Antonio. I said, y'all missing the team y'all talking about right now, okay? Y'all
You
missing the
gotta
team. But
stay
settle
focused.
down,
Stay
though. Settle
focused. Stay
down. We
focused.
gotta stay focused.
I mean, Hans talked about this, and what such a big piece is the, being able to stay on the floor for Cat. And that's a major piece of all of that. And being able to stay out of foul trouble. So I know that's important, and you guys got y'all figured that piece out. Who would you say is in terms of for the Knicks, the X factor to be able to make sure you guys the way that the Knicks have looked and how they clicked at the right time? Who's the X factor of that, I guess, culmination for you guys to have executed the way you did?
I mean, you got to give it to Cat and you got to give it to Brunson. And the reason being is you got to remember OG was out for 3 games, right? Mikal, listen, I just named 4 people right there. So I
Yeah,
guess
I was
I guess
like,
it's I
how
guess it's
many
hard to
X's?
say,
There's
right?
one X in that
Which one actually
alphabet.
matters, bro?
It's hard to say.
You know,
I'll give
ask
it a Cat.
who's the O? You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Who's the O factor? My
I
bad.
I'll give it to Cat. Reason being is that we clearly changed the dynamic of the offense. There's an intentional shift to putting the ball in his hands and getting him involved, right? And so what has that done? It's not only made him more active, it's created more movement. That I think is what's gotten Bridges more active, more aggressive, more effective because he's getting the ball in different places and he's getting the ball with the job of aggressively score, right? Get the ball and attack. So when more people are getting the ball and attacking, they're aggressive both on the offense and defensive end. And what's crazy is it's made Brunson more efficient. He's scoring at the most efficient clip that he has all year, and it feels like whenever Brunson touches the ball, it's like automatic. He's really scoring at Shea level efficiency right now. Dare I say? So
No.
I got to give it a Cat because it's that transition to him that is it has all the wheels and spokes spinning on the Knicks offense.
I mean, that from what you're saying is exactly what they were, the dynamic aspect of what they were hoping to have in terms of the Knicks to be able to open up the game for them to be able to execute at this level. I mean, but also got to give credit to you guys on defensively. Paul George was looking special, you know what I mean, as he got into the playoffs. But how you guys were able to make sure he got limited was also important as well too. Like, you know what I mean, when you guys dusted them off, he only scored 7 points, right? So big credit to in terms of the defensive identity that you guys carried over into what you guys are doing offensively as well.
So what I saw is exactly what Evan and Lou has mentioned. So I'm not gonna add on anything actually different. I will say this: what concerns me about the Knicks is, or what question I have about the Knicks is this who they are, or is this who they can be? So for a couple years now, Ev, you yourself has said that you guys have struggled to find your identity and who you are, and you guys were stumbling into the playoffs, right? And to your credit, you guys have made adjustments, and they have worked, and you've unlocked a version of yourselves that's really dominant to the point where we are seeing efficiency levels MVP like Shea. We're seeing defensive effort from Cat. OG was injured, but Mikel awoken from his slumber, and at just the right time. So what I wonder is if is this the identity you guys have been trying to attain for the past 2 years? Have you guys finally gotten there, or is this kind of like a window? And for your sake, I hope that window lasts up until the finals, hopefully. But similar to what you're saying, is still in the back of your head. But what I will give credit to, which I know Ev has been critical, and I've been critical of him sometimes too, is Mike Brown. Right? We've been critical of him and his usage of the players and play calling, and he's made the necessary adjustments. And I have to give him credit, because if we think about what happened last year with Tibbs didn't start making adjustments till what, the end of that Indiana series, maybe
Yep.
towards
Yep.
then.
Yep.
So
Yep.
So
so
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, no, I was gonna say that's if you ask a Knicks fan, all right, give you your unbiased feelings right now, right? One, you give Mike Brown credit because yes, a lot of criticism for him this year, but we still won 53 games. It's the most we've won in the last 4 years, right? I think it's the most we've won
Mhm.
since Carmelo's season. So,
Yeah.
we had a successful regular season. It just didn't quite feel that way, right, all the time. We had a lot of periods of stagnancy and what seemed like frustration. And so if you ask a Knicks fan, right, outside of, yeah, we're excited what we've seen the last couple of weeks, are we certain we're going to be that team, right, when we play next Tuesday or whatnot against whoever comes out of this game 7 with Detroit and Cleveland, right? Have we spent the last 10 days really locking in that identity to make sure that we come out with that same intensity, that same fluidity, that same diversity that we've uncovered and finally completely gelled with? Um, it's 10 days for us to be like, man, I sure hope I see it when we get back on that court, because we've been on a roll, and it's almost like you don't want to take a break because
Man.
you've been on
Hey,
such a roll.
but this is also another aspect you have to. I mean, whether you want to admit it or not, whatever. But it's not a knock to your team at all. This was the best case scenario in being able to get Philadelphia versus Boston, right? Boston fumbling, however they did that series, and then for you guys getting Philadelphia overachieved to even get to where they were in not just season, also in the playoffs. If we're gonna be if we're gonna be absolutely like real about it, it was
Okay, I
not
agree with that.
really. Come
I'll
on,
tell
man.
you why. I'll tell you what. I think
No,
I
no, no,
think
no, no, no,
I
no.
think we were charged up for Boston. I really do. I
You
think
think it was the Philadelphia team, and we know that matchups matter. The Philadelphia team better than Boston.
I'm not saying they were better than Boston. I'm saying the
If
energy that we brought,
you would have had
I,
it. Would it be a sweep?
it would not. But what I'm saying is,
You
but
guys
what I'm
benefited from that.
no. What I'm saying is, the reason Philadelphia got what they got is because that was the energy that we had ready for Boston. I really
Yeah,
feel that way.
I'm agreeing with Ev on this one. I mean, I think it's a huge detriment and knock on Boston that they got beat by Philly how they did.
I'm not questioning that
So
at all, but
I
I'm
don't
saying it's like it bode better for the Knicks.
I don't think
Let's come
so.
on. What?
I don't think so. I don't
It
think it
does feel
bodes
better for the
better.
Knicks. Knicks would have ended up in a 6 or 7 game series if they were playing Boston.
I ain't giving
I
you that.
I don't think so. I really don't. Just because of when the Knicks got, and I was talking with my boy Jay Reed. I know you're listening. I said Atlanta was going to smack the Knicks in the mouth, and it's going to wake them up, and that's what Atlanta did. They smacked the Knicks in the mouth, woke them up, unlocked them, and they started playing at a higher level. Like the level that they were playing, that they're not war. I'm sorry, that you guys are playing at right now. I don't think it would have mattered if it was Philly or Boston. I don't think it bodes, because if you're saying it's fortunate for them by what, maybe what, if we're talking about days of rest, yes, but the Knicks, if that's what it is, okay, cool, days of rest. I'll acquiesce to that. But anything outside of that, no. Like I like to ask credit. The Knicks were built to beat Boston. That's why the Knicks were assembled. That's why they traded
This specifically worked.
Randall.
That was their Achilles heel. They specifically worked towards it. But I'm saying is that was the series that we were looking forward to. Nobody thought that Philadelphia was going to slip through the cracks and do what they did, or rather, because we didn't think that Boston would fumble the way that they did. But yes, it does bode well. Rest matters. Rest matters. Like we can't act like it doesn't. And also, it doesn't mean that again, a Mike Brown versus Joe Mazzulla situation. When we're talking about coach versus coaching, who knows who get out coached on that in that situation? At the end of the day, right? These are all hypotheticals. It doesn't matter.
Wait,
you think Mike Brown is going to outcoach Joe Mazzulla?
Lou, he just lost to Nick Nurse. What are you saying? He just lost to this Nick Nurse.
I think so. I think
the one who started the whole lineup of guys who ain't start before. that's what we're going with. Like, come on, fam. Like, it's not like you're vacillating too far on the like. You can't say it's fortuitous, and then it's like, oh well, who knows what could have happened? Like, it still could have been 4-0, in my opinion.
Boston, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Lou. I do get what you're saying, but we can't ignore the fact that Boston became who they were the last 2 weeks, right? Boston. The reason the Knicks didn't play Boston is because Boston blew the series. So Boston is a team that wasn't good enough, whether it was coaching the players to get out of the first round, right? At the end of the day,
they fumbled the way they fumbled. I mean, right. And again, I'm just saying that in terms of for the Knicks, it was definitely. If I'm the Knicks and I see Philly coming out of that series, I'm like, yo, yeah, this is light work. We're moving. We went to the finals. We went to the Eastern Conference Finals because you cannot trust the Philadelphia Sixers to, for one, be healthy, and then two, actually be able to execute. So, like, yeah, I think everybody knew coming into the series that you guys were going to win. No hezzy.
I think after game one, everybody knew. I think going into game one, folks had questions, and I mean, I think I'll give, and then I'm gonna flip it on you a little bit. I think everybody expected Joel Embiid isn't gonna be healthy this entire series, and if Joel Embiid can't give you a full series of health, then that's gonna bode well for the Knicks. But the way he looked at the end of the Boston series, there was rumbling of, if Embiid looks this good and Paul looks this good, and Maxey and everybody else continues what they're doing, this could be a unique challenge for the Knicks.
It was your fault, though. It was the Knicks' fault because the Knicks did the same thing. And that's why I'm saying it did that. The Knicks turned a corner after the first round, right? They started humming. Philadelphia did the same thing. So for people, like, the brain works, whatever's easiest, that's what they do, which is I fell into the trap. I fell into the fool's gold. In my head, I'm like, oh, what? You got the Knicks playing at their full potential. Philly's actualizing it, right? We're seeing shades of PG, Maxey, Edgecombe, Joel Embiid. So I'm like, oh, if we get these two, right, these two teams at their full potential, we could really see a great series. But Philly regressed back to who they're mean, right? They regressed back to their mean, and the Knicks still played at the high level that they were playing with, and we got what we got. So at the end of the day,
the Knicks coming into this season, it is championship or bust. Am I wrong, Evan? Like, that's how your management was, your front office was, your coach was. You guys have been coming to this like we need
finals
last season. No, finals for sure. When I say
they're not gonna beat nobody's gonna beat the West.
Whoa! All right,
you got to get to the chip.
Listen,
you know what?
Listen,
you're not beating OKC or the Spurs.
You are not beating any team on the West.
The Spurs.
Relax. I
need to pull my NBA cup out. I got the wrong shirt on. I need to pull my NBA cup shirt out.
Get your.
We didn't handle the Spurs already.
Get your Gary, man.
We didn't handle the Spurs already. What we talking about? So let's not look ahead. Let's not look ahead.
Spurs in October. We Spurs in May.
Listen, man, we were the Knicks in October. Have you seen the Knicks in May? What we talking?
First of all,
Oh, Lord.
again, you had
Here they
Atlanta
go.
had to give you guys a heart scare for you guys to wake up.
Listen,
Don't start. Do not start.
All right, y'all.
Portland gave the Spurs a little okay, but let me ask you,
We
you
did,
know, talk
and
your
we got
talk,
one game.
Hans.
We didn't
Talk,
get swept.
right,
That's all I'm saying. We
Yeah.
right,
got our one
right.
game off.
But to that point, the reason, can't get ahead. Where we at right now, we got a game 7. By the time y'all hear this, it'll have been decided a game 7 between the Pistons and the Cavaliers. And from a Knicks standpoint, yeah, we happy. Them two teams beat each other up, right?
Who do you want to
You
see?
prefer? Ooh,
Honestly, that's the thing. This version of the Knicks, it don't matter.
don't matter.
But
So
but we gotta maintain this version of the Knicks. That's really what it is, man. So when you talk about the next round, when you talk about the West, like this version of the Knicks that I've seen the last 7 games, I'm eager to see whoever. But I got to see when we come out game 1 on Tuesday, do we still have that same fluidity, intensity on both sides of the court and diversity that we
I don't
carry?
think you will. I think you guys are gonna have to get smacked in the mouth, whether it be in the middle of the game or I hope not for your sake losing that game
game
where it
one.
be a close game. I think you guys are gonna have to get smacked
Hey,
because the natural energy is for you to chill and relax. You can't, as much as you practice, you can't recreate the game, the garden, the atmosphere, all of that. So I think you guys will probably get, it'll be close, and then you'll wake up. You'll be awakened. That's that at least that's why you guys have been right the whole time. But maybe this is the new Knicks. Maybe you'll prove me wrong, and you won't have to be awakened, and you'll come with it. But I just think the nature of the beast, man, is when we're not in survival mode, you chill, man.
not Hans
Start
Miller.
eating different.
That's the example of survival mode because, and then if you rush to the fact that it's like okay, fourth quarter we're gonna just rely on Jalen Brunson to be able to bail us out, and if it goes to that against any of these other teams, it's gonna be a long day in the office for you guys because
All right, guys.
all these other teams run the depth of all
What are y'all? There's a lot of disrespect. Subtle disrespect.
You telling me that it hasn't been a common thing that you guys have regressed today? Right. Jalen Brunson bail us out in the fourth quarter,
and he does it. We got the best closer in the playoffs. I said it. All right. What do you want to talk about next, Lord?
Wowzers. You know what? No, he's not wrong. He's not wrong because OKC hasn't been in that situation. So,
bro,
they
steamroll
teams. So,
what award did he win last year?
Clutch player of the year, baby.
Okay, then. So we respect it. But that can't be your entire business model. Like you have to rely on that on every time, bro.
Listen, man. You ain't seen our new IPO, man. But keep going.
All I know is that if that's gonna be the business model, this is why you don't have no chip.
All right, man.
All right, let's talk about real quick, guys, before we move on to the next segment. Let's talk about the NBA TV series, as Evs like to call it. The Cavs and the Detroit Pistons. Like Ev said, by the time you guys hear this, a decision would have been made. Game 7 would have been played. And we Knicks are either going to see the Cavs or the Pistons. Well, I will say this. Which team would it have seen to be, or which team would it be most detrimental to if they lose? This is Game 7. The Cavs or the Detroit Pistons? The Cavs being a team with all-stars and the talent, and Detroit being the number 1 team who possibly didn't make it as far as they should. So which team was it the worst look on if they lose Game 7?
I'm gonna say the team that lost a potential closeout game, game 6 on their floor by 20 points. And the one that employs James Harden, and the one that employs Donovan Mitchell, who scored with 18 points on 20 shots.
Subpar.
And a team that every time in the past 4 years has had an opportunity to achieve, they've underachieved. So I will put it on the Cleveland Cavaliers
every single time.
if I'm the Detroit Pistons, yep, Jalen Duren's looked kind of lost this series, right? But you've seen Cade perform in this playoffs in a way to let you know he's legit. He's the guy.
Get this man some help.
Right, exactly.
Actually,
You know
Get
that.
this
You
man
know
some
that.
help.
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
But
Goodness.
what it is like, as you bring up, like Cleveland, right? This was a conversation with Cleveland a couple years ago. Oh, get XYZ some help. Pieces around him still underachieving.
Right.
Nah, man. Cade stepped up to be what he was. During completely disappointing right now in terms of how he's playing. Like we bigged him up so much for being in having all-star level play. For him in when it counts the most to not show up the way that he needs to.
No, he showed up game 6 though. He showed up. He started being aggressive. I think it's
So if you're
it's
all
the
star, please do
youth.
every game. Like
No,
no funny.
no. I think it's the youth for him, though. I
Mhm.
think it's the youth never being there before, not showing up,
Mhm.
because you can make an all-star team, and also don't forget, like with injuries and everything that happened this past season as well, too, right? So you can make an all-star team for the first time, and to me, you failing to show up in the playoffs doesn't mean you're less of an all-star. You know, it's your first time there. You're getting your bearings about you, and not to mention you're not the focal point. You don't get as much reps, right?
Mhm.
Defense is tighter, possessions are fewer in between, so it's definitely showing you where he's at currently. And at the end of the day, I can't fault him for being young. What
Mhm.
I can do is fault Donovan Mitchell, and what I can do is fault James
Being
Harden for
hard.
turning the ball over multiple times and not showing up and understanding timing,
Mhm.
gameplay. When you're in the foul penalty, drive to the hole,
Yes.
drive to the hole, get fouled, get to the line, especially since your shot's not working. So I can fault those guys because they've been there
Absolutely.
multiple times with teams. During it's unfortunate because Cade is doing Herculean effort things out there, showing that, you know what, if it wasn't for this injury, I really think he'd be up there with Shea, Luca, and Victor with like the MVP, like complete not. And he's doing it on both ends too.
Yes.
Doing it on both ends.
Yep.
I'm gonna be real, man. As much as I'm a Donovan Mitchell fan, bro, I'm agreeing with Ev on this, man. The Cavs really have the most to lose if they don't get past the series. Um, they're gonna have to take a hard look in the mirror with these two guys that they have right now. Is it time to move on,
Come on.
or
Let's say brought James Harden in. Look, I insert my man rant. You know what I'm talking about. My man, the commentator is
yes,
just like, yeah. Come on, James Harden is consistently been a
but he showed up these
disappointment.
past two games though. Showed up these past two games. I'm just
That's
saying.
why, but
He showed up the past two
this
games.
is the
When
thing.
you talk about the entirety of the body of work, come on, like,
Right.
and,
I'm
and
just
again, remember,
saying.
I compared that this Detroit team to like how early OKC when they were the number one seed, and then they were still had inexperience going into the playoffs, and they didn't get to make it to either the finals or the conference finals or even to the chip. So yeah, for me, this is a knock on Cleveland. You got rid of I'm blanking on the son name,
Garland.
Garland, and then you have Harden now.
But
And
this is why, and we only got like 2 minutes. So this is why Harden is frustrating, though. It's one thing if you show up like during, right? Like you don't show up at all, right? Like let's say Harden plays for the whole season, and then the beginning of the playoffs, he just doesn't show up for all the playoffs, right? What makes Harden extra frustrating is he shows up for a couple games in the playoffs and he shows you James
flash,
Harden and
a
he gets
flash.
you in the series. And then when it's game 7 or a closeout game, he
He does not
disappears.
show up. Does not show up.
That's what frustrates you about Harden because he's like, "Hi, I'm here. I'm doing it." And then you're like, "But I need
And
it
then he
now, though."
and then he blames everybody else as to why he didn't execute.
All right, guys,
Um,
1 minute before we move on. Any last takes on the East before we move on to the West, fellas?
It's been fun, East. It's been fun.
Oh man, here he
It's been
goes.
fun. But yeah, if Detroit loses, they they just add some pieces.
Add
Right?
some
They know what
pieces.
they got to do. If Cleveland loses, we got to do something different.
They
And
got to
Got you.
focus.
And I'll share my take on that as we move on to the West on that. All right, guys. Let's move on to the West Coast. west side of things. Let's start off because we did not mention it with OKC sweeping the Los Angeles Lakers, as we predicted.
My bad. I was looking for my dustpan. I just
You're
didn't.
looking, man. I left my broom back there. Goodness gracious, Hans, be prepared. Uh, but we all saw it coming. Lakers put up a fight. That last game was, I think, the closest game of all the series, and went down to the wire. But OKC pulled it out. So without belaboring on this too long, I think really the conversation is what's next for the Lakers. You have LeBron, who's a free agent. You have Austin Reeves, who's a restricted, right? He's restricted free agent. Luca, who had injuries, is coming back. So I'll start off with you, Ev, on this. What's next for the Los Angeles Lakers?
Well, step one is Luca getting healthy.
Mm.
Step two is paying Austin Reeves. They're gonna do that. Uh, uh, he struggled during this run, right in the second round, and I mean he had injuries. He was injured from the end of the season coming back, but his chemistry with Luca is great. And he's too good of a talent for them to walk out the door one that they uncovered on their own. So they're gonna pay him. And then third, right, which sounds bad because it's we talking probably the biggest story of the three, but it's what do they do with LeBron? Uh, you know, LeBron James, I'm gonna give him credit, and I'm gonna give the Lakers a lot of credit. This playoff run without Luca was a success for them. Okay, to make it to the second round, um, they showed heart, they showed fight, especially with this roster. They didn't have a chance against OKC, so there's no fault, no shame in getting swept because they didn't have a chance. LeBron James, if this LeBron James is your third option and you have solid pieces behind them, that's not a bad thing as long as he recognizes that he's the third option on the team. So you make the valiant effort to bring him back. And if he decides he wants to be somewhere other than LA, all right, you transition that cap space to somewhere else. But the Lakers, I think, from that and are actually in a win-win, in my opinion. They could make the valiant effort, right? Show themselves, show that hey, we took the step to try to bring him back. And if he leaves, all right, you have your top two players to move forth and build around.
Okay, facts. Lou, if you're LeBron James, what do you do, man?
I mean, at this point, it's like he already said he doesn't want a farewell tour. You do you sunset it where you go back to Cleveland and say like this is how we ended? I don't think that. Well, I think based on how this Cleveland series goes, I think that then this becomes a conversation over the summer, right? If LeBron thinks about potentially making his way back there, but LeBron, I mean, if it doesn't hurt for you to just sunset your series, I mean your career with the Lakers. What is necessarily the expectation? I don't think any of us expect LeBron to really. I mean, it's great how we laud him because of what he's been able to do and how he even carried the team in this past series, and not having Luca and Austin being squirrely, and even I gotta knock JJ in terms of some coaching aspects because I think the utilization of Rui wasn't used to the max potential because Rui really was really balled out. But LeBron, I'm like, man, I think if I'm him, I'll go sunset it in Cleveland. You know what I mean? What? I don't have anything else to prove. I've been doing this 23 years. I've been the face of the league for 23 years. And look at the work product. So if I'm him, I take a hard look at depending however the Lakers want to retool their team. I don't think it's gonna put them in a position to win a championship. So I don't know at this point as LeBron, knowing that I probably won't win a championship. you know, let me just go out as a hometown guy. That's where I would go with it.
I like him going back to Cleveland, just a full circle kind of moment. But what do you guys say before we move on to the next topics and teams that are currently playing in the West? What do you guys say about the rumor of him possibly going to Golden State to play with Curry, man?
I mean, honestly, if you ask me, I keep hearing the Cleveland idea, and I just really don't get it. And but I mean, I hear it from everybody. I think doing something outlandish like going to Golden State. I think it is as many as these old heads together as possible. Just making
Get
a
KD
one
over there
year
too,
run.
man.
Get KD over there.
That,
Trade
that,
for,
that
trade for Embiid. Bring Klay Thompson back.
yeah,
Listen,
like that Lakers team where they had GP and Karl Malone and all that.
right? Because honestly, any other option to me is stale. Like, okay, why go? Why uproot? Why uproot your base and go back to Cleveland? I mean,
He's not
it
uprooting
sounds cool
anything.
until he's there.
It is
It's,
based. I mean, what base?
I'm
He's
just
not
saying,
uprooting
man.
anything.
You,
He's
you
gonna
got
get a
you,
condo, man,
What base?
or his
What
old
base?
house.
You think
Go,
he never? You think he don't still got a crib out there? Come on.
I,
He bought a crib in LA before he even went to LA.
bro, I don't leave LA to go to Cleveland, man. Yeah, I could catch I catch a little PJ
Nah.
up the coast real quick to Golden State for games and do that. I'm just saying,
Catch a
move
helicopter
across the
ride real
country to
quick.
Cleveland, man. Those winters
Hey,
are
look,
horrible.
I'm not against the geriatric team. You know what I mean? Put it together.
I think everything else is stale. I think staying in the Lakers is stale. I think going back to Cleveland is there's a little bit of nostalgia to it, but I think it gets stale quick. I think the Golden State option is at least an exciting one,
Oh,
right?
It's
I think it'd
exciting.
be interesting.
It's exciting, bro. I would have said
I
You got
exciting.
mean,
LeBron, a
if
passer with Curry.
To me, I would have.
what
That's
if
not.
they get all the pieces? If they get all the pieces, that's
Yeah,
what I'm
because
saying. If they go all the way out with it,
you
like
have to. Because you
yeah,
just add LeBron.
KD, Clay, trade for Embiid.
Man,
That's
why are you
exciting.
doing that, man? Why you throwing
No,
a beat in there?
I agree with Ev. Get him
Olympic
beat,
team.
get Clay, LeBron, and Steph. Like if you're gonna do it, you have to go all the
Golden
way.
State's not going for it because they just got out of cat purgatory hell. You know how much Embiid is slated to get paid
I
because he
feel you.
hits
First
he
of all,
hits his
you're not getting paid
maxes.
nothing because his knees are in shambles. I'm paying Embiid $24 in what you call Werther's caramel candy. Like, come on, stop playing with me.
But yeah, man, I think that's going to be the rumblings of the summer where LeBron's going to go. I do agree with Ev. I think Golden State would be more of a watch, more appealing to watch than him going back to Cleveland. Although, seeing him in the Cleveland Cavaliers uniform would be full circle, end it there, do it. But, LeBron's never done things traditionally anyway, right? So we'll see. All right, let's move on to the teams that are currently playing. OKC's resting and waiting for the end of the Timberwolves and the Spurs series. As we're presently recording, Game 6 is happening and the Spurs are in the lead. What do you guys make of this series thus far? Did you think it was going to be as competitive as it is, especially given the injuries that the Minnesota Timberwolves were suffering through? Anyone can answer.
I mean, I expected this series to end a lot sooner. But what I appreciate how the Timberwolves have stepped up and balled out. One of the things I'm most curious about in terms of how you guys feel is the decision on the flagrant two from Wemby, right? Because I think that has been a major factor in how the series has been playing out, right? If was it worthy of a suspension or not? Based on, especially when they bring up the Draymond Greens, the run on test, was it worthy of a suspension?
I mean, I think so. One, there was a lot of little things that led up to that, right? So I'm gonna go a couple ways with this. One, fully expected this series to be as competitive as it is. Timberwolves been in the conference finals the last 2 years or 2 of the last 3 years, right? So I mean, they, in a way, they built for the playoffs. I fully expected them to bring the fight to San Antonio. They've been trying to do it literally by beating up Wemby from the jump.
100%.
Right.
This is
So
his Michael Detroit series right now.
right,
But go
right,
ahead.
right. So when
Absolutely.
you say when you talk about the elbow and the ejection, there were a number of little jabs before the elbow that Wemby was retaliating on. I think right at one time with that elbow, slow motion action, it also makes it look more premeditated. It was definitely premeditated, but it makes it look even more premeditated. Like
Like
let
he
me
lined it
find
up.
him, and yeah, right. So
I,
and
I,
then right, and then last part. I mean, come on, Draymond Green is a habitual line stepper, and Wemby is the face of the
that's also
league.
you run our
So
test. Yes, that's why I also brought up this
right.
as well. But no, I get it. I will say though, in terms of it's the kudos to Julius Randle how he's been playing in the series because I think that he's really been the one to. Oh, look at you! Yeah,
You said kudos? He's been trash this whole series.
He's
He's
been
been
Jekyll and Hyde.
trash.
trash.
Yeah,
Trash. He's
Jekyll
been
and Hyde.
Looking at
trash
his,
the
his offensive stat line, I think
whole series.
defense. I mean, Gobert. I give Gobert in terms of what he's been doing as well. Nah, nah.
No,
So
Julius Randle put to bed what Ev and some other Knicks fans said earlier this year, end of last season. Who really got the best of this trade between him and Cat?
Oh, absolutely. The Knicks did.
Julius is showing you
it's
like
over. It's over.
like oh yeah
It's
yeah
over.
Nick's
It's
like oh
over.
we made the right decision like
Right.
Julie they're like oh
Right,
yeah
right.
we
Haven't heard
lucked
that.
out
Wilson,
I haven't heard that lately.
yeah.
Beer? Come
Bro
on.
no
No.
Okay,
It
so
took a while to be decided, but it's been decided.
I understand that McDaniels great at what he's done defensively. Gobert as he stepped up, absolutely. Ant is doing what he needs to do in terms of Ant. No love for Julius. That's crazy.
It's not no love, it's where you at.
Right. So Julius to me has been he's representing what my overall frustration with Minnesota is, and actually you has been right for the past 3 years. Minnesota, for as talented as they can look at certain nights, can be absolutely confounding and dumbfounding to watch.
Yeah, they can
On other
completely
nights.
disappear. I don't know.
They go from looking like the most intimidating team in basketball for quarters at a time to looking like they don't know how to play basketball for quarters at a time. And you see both sides of them within the same game. As much praise as Chris Finch gets for a coach, I give him equal parts criticism because this team from quarter to quarter, and sometimes even in
Jekyll
within
and Hyde.
quarters, is
Jekyll
like,
and Hyde.
who are you?
Yes, perfect. And I mean, we've had that about criticism about Ant in himself.
Mm-hmm.
But
No, he's not lying, bro. There's times where they look like Charlotte.
Right.
I'm not even like.
No,
there's times where they look
cap,
like
right.
Charlotte. I'm like,
They are.
I'm watching Charlotte right now, bro. Like I kid you not. Yo, no disrespect.
That is
no disrespect. But no, there's times like you'll see. Okay,
I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
but there's a difference though, right? Because San Antonio has those laps too, but it looks different.
Absolutely.
It looks different. It's more of a lapse in system, right?
Yeah.
It's a lapse in execution.
Yeah.
When Minnesota has their laps, you're like, what made you think that was okay? Like,
and so you say San Antonio has those lapses sometimes, but I would argue that playing this San Antonio team, the preparedness and the consistency of them overall, especially based on the age of their main players, is what makes Minnesota's lapses so glaring. I gotta give San Antonio credit because they have, and we've talked about this all year. So I mean, I'm not breaking news, but when you talk about Steph Castle, who I think is 21 years old, and then you talk about Dylan Harper, who
just got into the mix,
19, 20 years old, and the control and pace and maturity that he's exhibiting in a ferocious playoff series, like looking like a
That's
man
his
amongst
game, bro.
men.
That
And
last game was his game, bro. I was like,
right,
wow,
right. And
wow.
that speaks to him, right? And I mean, it's easy to say. I mean, you know, he looks like he's Derek Harper's son, right? It's easy to say that, although it is true. But it speaks to the preparedness of this team. And to go back to that elbow that you brought out from Wemby, it speaks to the fire of the leading player, right?
Yeah.
Because Wemby, yeah, all right, you kick me out of the game. I'm gonna kick y'all out. Yeah, almost said it. I'm gonna kick y'all when I get back.
But
Right.
the thing about it is, but the reason why I mentioned it is because you saw how in terms if Wemby's on the floor of that game, they close it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They lose that game really in the last minutes of that game, and a game that they had clinched. Basically, they should have won and put themselves in a position where they should be closing. You know, they should have been closing Minnesota out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that San Antonio. I don't know if I want to say that they overachieved, but I didn't expect for them to be this good. I mean, I knew that they would be good, but the way that they're clucking, I didn't know that they were going to be this good. And the depth that they have right now, I'm like, wow. Because look, Keldon Johnson coming, and like people forget that Keldon Johnson is even on a team. You know what I mean? You got Castle, you got Vassell,
Wait,
Fox
you
is
mean
cool.
the Six Man of the Year award though winner? They forgot he was on the team.
But
No,
to his point though, Carter Bryant comes in and cooks. You know, Darren Fox, you know, he's having a decent series, right? And the way the other players are playing, you look up Keldon Johnson, who kind of been struggling this series, right? Comes out and he has a breakout, and it's like all of these young players are stepping up to the challenge right now. And if your biggest question coming into this playoffs for the Spurs was, would the moment be too big for them too soon? And they're answering the bell every step of the way, which, you know, I think we all are in agreement that, you know, we feel they're going to pull this out. So it leads to, what are we about to see in this next round
I
for
Let
have a
the
me
question.
ask.
Spurs and OKC?
Oh, my bad, Hans. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, how is this the next Cleveland Golden State clash? Meaning, are we going to see San Antonio and OKC clash in the Western Conference Finals for years to come?
Oh,
I think from a hype standpoint, I think it's the most anticipated matchup since that second Cleveland OKC. I mean Cleveland on Golden
Golden
State,
State, yeah.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I do think whether it's back to back to back, we're this is one where we're gonna have rounds of it, right? We're gonna have like 3 or 4 rounds of it over the next 5 or 6 years, right? Where we're gonna remember you know, how the blows were traded. I definitely think that.
The way that both these teams are constructed, the depth of both these teams, it's gonna just be an exciting. It's gonna be exciting basketball to see. But my question is just Minnesota losing this series. How concerning is that? And then what do you do next?
I'm not too concerned just because Ant is giving his all on bad knees. So you got to think about that. If anything, I retool. I potentially look at Randall differently. I may try to look at getting another scoring guard because think about DiVincenzo. Yes, you have Tatum who came back right quickly and everything like that, but that may not necessarily be the case for Dante. So
We don't
I
go
look
to the same
at
guys as them. They don't go to the same doctors.
yeah, you get what I'm saying? They don't, right? So I look at potentially getting another playmaker or another scorer out there to really help and carry the load. I'm okay if you bring Randall back, right? You know, this just possibly could have been a bad matchup and a bad series for him. But I look at getting another playmaker, another scorer out there to help Ant really, you know, carry the load. That's what I do if I'm Minnesota.
I mean, we've been talking about Minnesota being supposed to be going over that hump for the last 3 years now. So if
But
they then get knocked out again, what happens differently now?
they didn't do anything differently coming into. You get what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
I get it. That's what I'm saying. Is like you're still getting this result, right? You 2 years ago the hype was okay. They got to this point, and then you were expecting that this is a team that potentially is going to go to the finals, but they've never actualized that. So
yeah, I get it, but I can't fault them because they did something. I'll take it back. They did something. They went and got Randall, who they thought was really going to be exponentially different and yield different fruit compared to Cat. So they're trying. I can't knock that. Just you know, again, they're trending in the right direction. This injury, I think, I think this series is a lot closer if Anthony Edwards is healthy. I think, and if Dante DiVincenzo didn't blow out his Achilles, I think this series is a lot closer than what we think.
The most successful period in Minnesota Timberwolves history. Not every team wins a championship.
Yeah. So I feel like, as a team who's early 2000s got knocked out in the conference finals by the Lakers repeatedly, trust me, I'm there. All right. Let's move on to the last segment, guys. I don't want us to run out of time, so I do want to start off by saying condolences. We had some tragic losses in the NBA. First to break was Brandon Clark of the Memphis Grizzlies, who passed away, and it was apparently an overdose, a drug overdose. And shortly after, we received another breaking news that Chris Collins at 47, 47.
46, yeah, 46, yeah, 40, I think 47.
47. He had brain cancer,
Potentially, yeah.
and he passed away as well. So we want to definitely extend our condolences and prayers for their families. It's a tough loss. Both at young age. 47 is not really old at all, right? So both lost at a young age. So thoughts and prayers out to their families and their family members. And tough losses, man. Very unexpected. Well, I know Collins was struggling for a bit. So I know they were kind of thinking about end of life and get him comfortable because he did have the most severe form, I think stage 4. So I know that was a little kind of preparedness that they had, but the Brendan Clark one definitely did not see that come. Such a young life loss, man.
9 years old, and then I think Rui had posted because they were at Gonzaga together. That being his old teammate and posting about him. So condolences, and addiction is real, and unfortunately, man, a lot of folks end up in that space because, as we've been talking about the injuries of other players, right? That usually oftentimes starts what the path to addiction where these guys have in terms of painkillers for in their recovery, and some folks they never able to kind of manage it and get to a point where they can wean off, and here we are with Brandon Clark. But condolences to both families, man, and folks who definitely gave us some great moments in the NBA, and it definitely a big loss.
100%. There's no way to segue into this, but let's do some news around the NBA real quick, guys. So we talked about Philly. They just let go of Daryl Morey, who James Harden says is a liar. I'll never forget that. Daryl Morey is a liar. But they're keeping Nick Nurse. So there's that. They did say that Bob Myers is kind of the headline for that. What do you guys think? Is there a fix for Philly, or are they just cursed and doomed to just with this lineup that they have? There's no coming and saving them unless you get rid of these big contracts, i.e., PG, Embiid.
The reason they got rid of Daryl Morey is because he signed Paul George and Joel Embiid to 2 untradeable contracts, unless they get Embiid to the Warriors. So whoever's coming in, that's their only path to relevancy is figuring out what to do with those contracts or riding it out until those contracts are no longer on the books. But you got Maxey and Edgecombe, so build off that. Stop selling all your tickets to Knicks fans.
Oh my God!
There he goes.
Morey was already in the hot seat when you signed Harden. That bum.
There you go. All right. In other news, the Chicago Bulls lose Bulls. They hired the Orlando Magic assistant GM. Uh, Lou, why you shaking your head, man?
Why are you burying the most important
I am. I'm getting
nine?
there, Ev. I'm
Let's
getting
go,
there.
man. Let's
I'm
go.
getting there. They've made some changes in the front office, which I know Lou has been concerned about. Lou, does this give you a glimmer of hope since you guys are trying to make front office changes? No. Okay. Got it.
Did they make ownership changes?
Got it.
It's a color purple moment.
Where does this go? Seeing is believing. All right. I don't know what we're gonna do with the fourth pick. Okay. You can't tell me. Okay, I was about to get into I was about to have a moment.
Hold on one second. Before you get into that, in other news, Wizards got the number one pick. Ev's happy. He's in a location where he can see the top pick play with other players. Lou's team, the Bulls, garnered the fourth pick. Indiana got screwed. The summation of the of the draft lottery there, real quick. Just summed it up real quick right there.
Right.
Indiana tank for no reason.
No.
So Lou, man, you're not excited about this fourth pick, man. It does nothing for you. It doesn't titillate you with this
Is
alleged high power draft, which I'm calling farce on. By the way, that's my hot take.
Oh,
I mean, I think it's. I think it's.
This
I don't
draft class is overrated.
think
Called
the draft class is top 10 heavy, and then everything else so it falls off afterwards. But what I would say is look, based on the moves that we have been currently making, I would be setting myself up for failure if I were to be hype about the fact that we have the fourth pick, because we went and did what in the trade deadline? Look at AL in Minnesota. Look at Kobe in Charlotte. Look at all our guys hooping elsewhere, just for us to pick up more guards. Dillingham, Jaden Ivey's not even in the league no more. God bless my dear brother. Then we end up with a roster with the average height of what 6'8", 6'7", one more. So yes, the potential to be able to get one of the Boozers, Cameron Boozer or Caleb Wilson, awesome. But are we going to actually build? How are we going to construct a roster that that makes sense? We in full blown rebuild mode, and we didn't even do it right. We gave folks away for peanuts. We'll see.
All right,
it'd be hilarious. It'd be hilarious if y'all drafted a Darius A. Cuff or one of these guards.
Evan.
Yes.
Don't relax. Don't do this, yo. Relax.
No. But honestly, like y'all are in a good position to
that's
where
my fear. That is exactly my fear.
Right. We didn't get it right with the guards. Let's get one of these in the draft.
Of the 10 guards on our roster, let's get an 11th.
Right. As Hans mentioned, so I'll try to get into this real quick, right? Because I know we only got a couple minutes. But Lou,
2 minutes.
I summarize. Lou criticizes me for being a Knicks fan who roots for the Wizards as well, and I'll just say, as a fan of basketball, I root for Joel Embiid. All right, as a fan of basketball, and who's been a fan of basketball since I was a little kid, I have the right to enjoy various facets of the league. All right, my team is my team. My projects are my projects, especially when I live.
Your hobbies, man.
Right, yeah. My hobbies are my hobbies, and my favorite players are my favorite players. That's the way you're supposed to enjoy the league.
I've been with a favorite player piece, but I'm just saying, when you talk about your team is your team, I'll put it in this perspective. If I would have a young lady that is my lady, and I would consistently speak about another young lady that I favor because I'm in that particular city, I think she would have some gripes.
You talking about he's a soccer player shouting out his girlfriend instead of his wife?
That's why sports are great. That's why sports are great. All right.
Sports is the only venue in which you can cheat comfortably.
Yeah, there you go, man.
There you go. So with that said, how many folks get to say they live in a place where their team is getting the number one pick in a great draft? And so their local team is getting the number one pick in a great draft. So the opportunity to watch, AJ DeBanto or Darren Peterson for the next 8 years. Listen, I'm not mad at that. And I just want to be on record real quick. Wizards, trade the pick to Utah, trade the pick and Trey Johnson to Utah for Ace Bailey and the number 2 pick.
Ace
Pick
Bailey?
Darren Peterson. Let's run it.
Oh my gosh.
AJ wants to be in Utah.
Hold
him for ransom.
On that note, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Hey yo, we pulled the Tony Allen on him, yo.
we appreciate it. As always, hit us up on YouTube, on social media, Instagram. We appreciate you guys being here. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, give us a thumbs up. If you really, really enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button and the notification button so you can keep up with us every week. Be sure to follow us on all our socials at the 3on3 Podcast. Hey, got a question, topic you want us to talk about? Hit us up on our email at 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate y'all. Tune in next week.